Okay, thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to the December 2nd, 2023 meeting of the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On to the legal stuff. The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and 5 appointed alternates. We currently have 5 members and 1 alternate. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from applicants, abutters, and affected parties, and ask questions about the request. The public hearing will then be closed and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of the request. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You're welcome to watch the deliberations this evening, or you can contact the Planning and Zoning Office at Town Hall in the morning to get the results. For an applicant's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. An applicant can request a continuance if there is not a full 5-member board to act on an application. This evening we have 4 board members and 1 alternate here. If you are grieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to the Superior Court. However, before appealing to the Superior Court, you must request a rehearing before this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing request must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. Failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to the Superior Court. Please silence your cell phones for the balance of the meeting. I would ask the board members to introduce themselves, starting with Jack.
My name's Jack Shepard. I'm a building inspector, code enforcement officer, and zoning.
I'm Gail Lebrecht. I'm a member and the recording secretary.
Denise Langley, Vice Chair.
Leonard Stewart, Chairman.
Jason Cody, member.
Judy Elaine, member.
All right, moving on with the agenda.
Did you formally appoint Judy?
Yes, I'm going to appoint Judy as our alternate to be voting on this application this evening. All right, let's start with the approval of the November 7th meeting
I motion to
minutes.
approve.
No changes,
Second.
corrections, made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Yeah, that's right, Jason wasn't with us. All right, our first and only application tonight is from John Beliveau, the applicant owner who is seeking a special exception to build a single-family home on an existing non-conforming lot that has 0.3 acres, whereas 20,000 square feet is required per section 4.3 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The Zoning Board of Adjustment may grant a special exception per section 14.7.3 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance to allow the owner to build a home on an existing non-conforming lot. The property is located at Russell Avenue, map 24, lot 17, zoned residential 2. If someone is here speaking for the applicant, come on up, identify yourself, and tell us what you want to
I'll
do.
make a motion to find the application has no regional impact.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome.
If you'd identify yourself. and-
John Delvaux.
And
Good
spell,
evening.
spell your name for Gail's benefit.
Beliveau.
All right, and tell us about your project.
The project has been one that we started a while ago, but we finally got all the our ducks in a row and conforming to the lot size. And this came up at time of permit, and they said, oh, we're gonna have to go to ZBA because of the, the zoning ordinance that requires 20,000 square feet, where the lot was established in 1951. 51, I believe is what it, and there's a copy, I believe everybody has a copy of the plot plan where all the setbacks and the buffers all meet the town requirements, and that stuff I'm gonna defer to Alden because it's all his handiwork.
Okay, questions from any members of the board?
Not at this time.
I don't have any right now.
So we'd like to hear from the surveyor.
Okay,
Yeah, so my name is Alden Boschman from Keeling Enterprises. I'm a private land consultant, septic designer, wetland scientist. So I did put together the plans for John. You have the little plot plan in your file. We went through and we got state septic approval. We've got shoreline approval as required. John is a considerable distance, 250 feet from the river itself, but there was a little cove area that came around, and it's just a little finger that barely comes in, and he was within that distance, which required a shoreline permit. So we did go through the whole permitting process. He has his septic approval, he has his shoreline approval, and everything else seemed to be in order.
these are all the ducks you talked about lining
Yes.
up, I take it.
Yes. Yep.
Have you owned this lot for some period of time? and
I've
just-
owned, I own the lot, I'm the abutter in the back, and I also own the land across the street. And I've owned this lot for going on a little over 3 years now. And when I first purchased it, it was a junkyard. And there was a lot of old cars and whatnot, and we started cleaning it up, and we're in the process of doing what we are here today to do. But at that point in time, it was brought to my attention about the shoreline permit, and there was certain things that I had to take care of first. So we pulled back on the reins and got a hold of Alden, and we found out what we needed to get done for the town, for the state, and followed through and got all the permissions that we needed to get through, and started cleaning up the lot, and that brings us here today to, we submitted permit for building, and the town has all that stuff, but the size of the lot came up at the last, somebody caught it in the office and said, well, hey, we're gonna have to, take care of this, so, okay, whatever you need, so it's just one more little hurdle, which we're,
This happens very frequently in that part of
It's-
town. as
yes.
we both know.
yep, yep.
And this lot was developed and subdivided, not developed, but subdivided as a lot back in, you said 51?
51, I think, yeah.
Prior, yes,
Yeah.
Okay, so prior to zoning.
correct.
Way prior to zoning.
Way back.
Your plans, I presume, will be some, if you build a residence there, there'll be demarcation between you and the vacant lot to the
Yes.
left of
yes,
the property.
Yes, the vacant, the person on the right side of me, I was just actually on the phone with him. He has full approval and he's good with everything and, the house going on top, there's gonna be living quarters because it's a residential area with an attached garage. And everything that I've done so far in the area, it's been, you know, I'm cleaning up, I'm bringing things back to life down there where well, things have been run down for quite a while, and we're cleaning up, we're planting, we're taking down some of the big old bull pines, but we're gonna be replanting maples in there, and when this is done, we'll be landscaping and dressing, you know, I live there, so, you know, it's a benefit to me to build up my, you know, and it's available to me because I own my own business, JBMB Construction, and I'm able to do this, you know, for myself, but also to utilize the property for what it's, you know, it's been a vacant lot for a long time, so, and,
1951,
yeah, yeah.
not quite as old as I am, but almost. Board members, anything from,
Nothing from the applicant at this point.
your application is very straightforward, there's really not a lot. If you have anything to add, otherwise I'm going to open the hearing to the members of the public and see where we go from there. If you can step back. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard for or against this application? If so, please come on up, identify yourself, and tell us what you think.
I'd just like to say a couple words.
Could you please come up to the table, sir? We need to have you on the microphones for the recording. Also, please identify yourself for the record.
Philip Lenzi, I own the lot to the left of John's.
Could you spell your last name?
Lenzi.
Okay.
No, everybody has a right to build. I mean, I don't question that. The two main, right, that's my lot to the left. As far as the architectural, as long as the final design is very clear to the board as well as to all the neighbors, this thing is going to be in conformance with all the other properties over there. Now,
Again, the actual design portion is not really the purview of this board.
all right, I don't
We
wanna bring
determine its
the other
suitability,
building down,
but the planning issues are for the planning.
Okay, we'll make a point here. You probably got the picture of the building that's behind it. That's an industrial building that he also built. And you guys weren't aware, I guess, that it wasn't gonna have that architectural style. That is exactly what we don't want in that neighborhood. What we do want is a building that's gonna be an architectural, that is gonna conformance with the rest of the neighborhood.
Well, the applicant is saying.
I saw some of the drawings that he has. I just need the assurance from this board that is exactly what's gonna take place when this place goes up.
Again, those are issues that are outside the purview of this board. We just decide the
You
special
have the final design.
exceptions.
I mean,
Plant-
an industrial
those are-
building doesn't belong down there. This is the concern of everybody. This affects everybody else's property values, putting something that is not in the spirit of the neighborhood.
I think what the chair is trying to say is,
You have the
this
building
board
behind
is
it.
here to decide if he can get a special exception to build a residential building on a grandfathered lot. And in that case, as long as it's used as residential, it's anybody, I mean, it's not the purview of this board to tell people how they have to build a project when it's under this guidelines of special exception.
All right. I mean, we gotta see where I'm coming from with
Well, I
this.
believe you're saying this is the wrong board.
It is the wrong
He wants
board.
to look at going to the planning board.
The planning,
I'm
no,
not
the
looking-
planning board won't
Board,
either,
give him
it's,
some help.
you don't, the planning board won't look at this because it's not a commercial property, it's not a development. It's people's rights, I mean, and I
I agree, it's-
understand you
it's-
have
it's
your
absolutely
rights. It's just that's not within what we do.
I know,
just
I'm not
not
saying it
a-
has to look like a cape, I'm not saying that it has to look like anything other than a commercial building, that's all. I mean, that's the concern there. And as far as stormwater, I mean, as long as this is not gonna impact, we got a water problem down there that we have at least 3 times a year. There's sawhorses that sit at the top of the hill where they block off the road as recent as last April, and the last time before that was Christmas, day after Christmas, I believe, where we had high water covering the road.
Have you had an opportunity to see what we're looking at?
I have, yeah.
You have.
The design John showed me on the building, we did meet a couple times on this. Is the material called out? As far as all the materials from the outside of that?
It's a barn home. It's gonna
Okay.
be reminiscent of a barn. All the fascial boards will be cementous, hardy panel. On the sides and the roof will be metal, because it's all flood zone down there, and any products that will be wood or anything, it's not the right thing to use if the water comes up.
But hardy board is architectural, that's
It's-
Could
it's
could
very
you address,
hardy
could you
panel.
address the board, please?
All right, well, I've been trying to get this point across from the get-go, but
But I would suggest though, exactly what you're doing now is if you're concerned about the style that you're talking about, you two look like two guys who could sit down across the
Yeah, we have-
table
we
and
s-
talk about what the shape
Well, we
of the
said-
final
we said
project
Sunday.
will be.
we said Sunday, as long as like the materials are called out specifically, that is what's gonna go on there, and there be no deviation, then I'm fine with it.
I would say talk to each other. That's really the,
Okay,
that's
we
really
have-
the
we have.
solution to
I just wanna
the
make sure
problem.
we're on the same page as well as you guys.
But you understand it's not our
Yeah.
purview here.
And as far as the stormwater issue, is this not gonna exasperate a
They
already
have to
bad
have,
problem
they
down there?
already received approval from the state of New
In
Hampshire.
terms of stormwater?
Stormwater, yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I go through that, it's pretty intensive. The
Okay.
state makes sure that the runoffs are not happening, going into the wetlands.
All right, well, that was the only 2 real
Okay.
concerns we have. And I guess as far as screening between the 2 lots, he's gonna put what, rock maples, I believe.
Again, they grow fast.
Okay.
Okay. Appreciate you coming in.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. John, you have
Anyone else wish to speak? Come on up.
Good evening.
Can you just, I'm sorry,
Evening.
sir,
Sir, can we have if you're gonna have a side conversation, please take it in the hallway. Go ahead, ma'am.
I just have a question. I live at 18A Russell Avenue, which
Would
is...
you identify yourself, please?
Oh, sorry. Yep, Lori Sullivan, Lori Sullivan. I live at 18A Russell, which is kind of like across from the lot on the other side, the driveway. We're down on the water. I will say, I'm not sure, and maybe this, like you were saying earlier, this isn't a question that should be posed to this board, but I moved out of Manchester and came here, and we've just started our 4th year, and we love it, and we obviously got out of the city. I don't want to have a structure right across the street from my home that looks like a vacant industrial building. And I also don't want construction vehicles starting up in the evening, at, early mornings. Thank you, I haven't seen anything, appreciate it. And it being used as storage, dumping, workers come early, workers come late. I don't want to hear backup beeping of industrial vehicles in my neighborhood. So I guess that's where I'm a little leery on, okay, it's gonna look like a house, it's gonna have a dwelling for just one individual. Is it gonna be like the other building that is a warehouse that has construction material around it? and workers come and go. They don't live in the neighborhood, they don't walk the neighborhood, they don't raise a family in that neighborhood.
No, the applicant has said he intends to build a residential building there. That's what the board has to go on. It becomes a different question as it becomes a commercial facility, but that's not what we're being asked here tonight.
Okay.
I do
And
live across
again,
the street.
Okay,
you'll get your opportunity, Mr. Belleville. Anything further?
Nope, that was really my main concern. Thank you, ma'am, I appreciate this. Is that something I could get a copy of?
Mr. Belleville, if you want to respond, please come on up.
Yeah, I just, she
Oh,
said I
please
don't.
come up to the
I'm sorry.
microphone. Come up to the
John Delano.
microphones.
I'm just, she had said I don't live in the neighborhood, I live across the street, and I have that, and it's not a storage, it's a storage garage, and I have a lot of equipment, my business is in Massachusetts, and I keep stuff out of the weather, and the only reason there's stuff on the outside now is because of the lot is being developed, where, there's a couple trailers out there, everything is registered, there's nothing out there that's not registered.
Volvo
So-
registered that sat out there
Yes.
over a year?
oh, no back and forth, please.
Okay, thank you.
And, but I do, it's my neighborhood, I've been there for 25 years.
So you're saying it'd be for storage of personal vehicles and personal property
There's-
and not your business vehicles?
My business stuff, the only thing that would be there in relation to my business is my trailers where I park them. And when I move equipment, it goes, down to Massachusetts. My business is in 10 Piedmont, registered with the state, 10 Piedmont Ave, Merrimack, New Hampshire, and I also have a shop in Woburn, Massachusetts.
All right. Judy, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out to anybody who's interested in the stands or anything, it says right here on the building permit application, any business use requires planning board approval. So that can always be followed up as any of this paperwork states.
So there would be, if you have further objection, there'd be another forum after this board if necessary. Okay, anything more from the public? Anyone else? All right, seeing no more public comment, I'm going to close the public hearing. And we will go ahead and deliberate. And Judy, you are voting on this.
Okay.
Thoughts, questions, motions?
Well, I think it's grandfathered in. I mean, they meet the setbacks, I think that's critical. I think they've done everything they needed to do. I'm ready to make a motion to approve.
All
You want me to
right,
go through the criteria?
please do.
Okay, whoop, let me pull this out here. Consistent with the town's current master plan, it is allowed, they're meeting the setbacks. The lot's a little smaller than what the zoning allows now, but it is a lot, and you cannot stop somebody from building on a piece of property. It is consistent with the neighborhood, so it certainly isn't going to affect the character of the neighborhood. It's a residential building being placed. It will not create nuisance or hazard of vehicles because it is a residential area. There will be a garage, probably have a couple vehicles like most homes in the area. Number 4, sufficient size to allow for adequate and appropriate facilities. Obviously, there's plenty of room, it meets all setbacks through our zoning. Sufficient size and appropriate buffers, same thing. He's meeting all setbacks. I think that's critical.
Is that a motion?
That was a motion.
I'll second.
Jason seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? You have your special exception, Mr. Belleville, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And based on the conversation in this meeting, I would think you're going to have some conversations.
Yeah,
Okay?
please,
Thank
please
you.
do. Talking solves so many problems.
Have a good night, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, right.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No.
We try.
All right, going down the rest of the very limited agenda
Yes, we do
tonight.
have limited.
We had a letter requesting a rehearing, and we had a letter from the same people
Canceling the request for the hearing.
withdrawing the request for
So
a
they,
rehearing.
did they have a conversation? Is that why? I'm so happy. Isn't that what I wanted in the first place?
And somewhere in this
I
pile
like
of,
when things work out that way.
and somewhere in this pile of stuff, we have Town and City Magazine. If you would like first dibs on it this time, Denise,
Well, I
you can
did
have
last
it.
time, I never gave it back.
What?
I'll make sure I give it back. Everybody ask me for this next meeting, please. Thank you.
All right,
One copy,
Let me write a giant note.
of course.
Does anybody want it first?
Denise stole the
no, Denise was
right.
given, Denise was given by
She's
me.
in possession of,
I have my senior journal, I'll be.
Do you have your library card?
I do too.
All right,
I do have a library card.
Are we ready for a motion to adjourn?
No, what's this? Goffstown Planning. When do we talk about that?
I don't know, are we?
I don't know. It's here.
yes, you can,
Well, I guess I really don't have to, but.
you know, if you.
I would
Denise-
like
There's nothing we
to, I would like to talk about next year, if that would be okay, appropriate.
That would be fine.
Next year, I would like to have a workshop within the zoning board to get together and get our minds together on things that have come up over the years that we would like
Could you
maybe
take your
some.
conversations outside, please? Sir, could you take your conversations to the hallway?
Thank you. What did he say? What did he say?
They were
He
talking.
didn't say nothing, it was the eyes.
I thought I was getting
Yeah,
a
I
little
thought he
attitude.
did.
It's like, we're in a public
They
meeting.
shot bullets at Lynn.
Well, you know, sorry, but we're still recording.
Yes.
So anyway, Denise,
So before I got interrupted, to talk about the zoning, things that we see coming to us quite often, that we may have issue with, we may recommend some changes. Now, we're not the board that makes the final say, but it would like to have some say, because we're the ones that have to deal with these zoning ordinances. Then that would go to the committee, which is the planner and the planning board, I believe? So that we have some control, or we could maybe bring it to the planning board at a meeting as a group. I went to the last meeting. I did not go representing the board, I did go as myself. And it was very informative. I think it's a good place for us to visit. And if we're going to do that, we need to jump on it, because this is not the first time I have brought this up, and we were not included. So I think we need to be proactive, and in the month of September, maybe in that meeting, we have a workshop. And it would go on our schedule, if everybody's in favor of that.
In September
Well,
2024. Okay.
correct. I mean, I don't know when they start, but we want to be proactive if we're going to do this and get involved.
I think that's a good idea.
Jack, what do you think of the time frame?
It's appropriate. If you want to hold on a minute, I'll
Sure.
check the minutes and tell you when they started.
Thank you.
I would only say I heartily second Denise's idea, because this got started one afternoon. I was here at Town Hall on another matter and ran into Joanne Duffy, and just by chance got invited into a meeting on the zoning amendments, which included 2 members of the planning board, a representative of the selectmen, and nobody from the board that actually deals with the zoning ordinance. I had spent like an hour and a half on it, and that was the only, I had no idea that the meeting was even going on. We got no notice and no call on it, and I don't think this is the first year that it's happened. They've
No, it's
worked
not.
these things out
That's why we
without any
requested last year.
consultation with this board, and I think that, this board deserves to be consulted on things that affect our, our jurisdictional purview.
So is that an official committee that was meeting on that?
The planning board.
It's just the planning board, or is it a subset of the planning
That's the
board?
planning board. Well, they had didn't they have a?
They had a
This-
little,
they
that
had-
that
This
meeting
was
that
like
he
an
walked in on.
informal meeting
Yes,
back
this
in
was-
the.
They had a subcommittee of a couple of members with Joanne working on
Yeah,
it.
Jo-
Sounded like it was pretty
Joanne, Barbara Griffin, Collis Adams, and Colleen
Mayo.
Mayu, the
So-
other zoning expert on the, or,
Why don't we put a request and draft a request from the zoning board to the Board of Selectmen to make it an official thing and have us appointed a member of it?
I think that we still should have a workshop so we can
Oh, I
discuss
don't
it as a
disagree,
whole.
but if for those kind of things that show up, I think you're right, like,
We can attend the meeting. We can attend.
not if you don't know they're going on.
Well, no,
Right,
but we
but
could
if-
attend the meeting and we could make sure we have our town representative let us know when that's gonna be in advance, as I did. And I was welcome there, I could talk, they asked my opinion. But it was too late to introduce something. Now, I could have introduced one of the items as just a citizen witness Langley and brought it to the board and they could have voted on it. I could still do that, but I think we need to do it as a whole, as a group. I think coming from the zoning board,
Yes, but we should
Means
have more
more.
meat.
yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
I'm not finding it, it's gonna take me too long.
okay.
Yeah.
So, just to remind everybody, we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
Last year,
5,
Well, I think it was.
23 plus.
It's a timing thing.
Yeah.
is
it's
what's
not a
getting
timing
at.
thing. I asked specifically for us to be included prior. So we will be proactive this time.
Oh, yeah, I,
Where we were not proactive because we thought we would be
we
informed.
would be in, but, okay, I gotcha.
But like Jason says, it should be in some permanent paperwork that it does.
But by us having our own workshop, handles that. We
Yeah,
control it
absolutely.
and there's no rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just do it
Okay.
ourselves.
Yep, just in case in the future it
Yeah.
gets lost, but it doesn't have to.
But I guess if we're proposing, let's say this workshop comes up with proposing some recommendations to change, right? I don't necessarily think as a citizen that this, I would think that this board would have some, I don't wanna say authority, but some voting input with the boards that make the rules or propose the rules to the town. Like if we propose something, the planning board could just go, "Pfft."
Well, then we could put anything on the ballot. Can we put something on the ballot or did it have to be a
You
personal
have to
name?
petition it.
We could
probably.
petition it.
We can petition it, yeah.
The other option would have too, if something goes on the ballot that we disagree with or that we want to support, we can go to the deliberative session and stand up and comment as just a resident who's a member of the zoning board.
Can you state that you're a member of the zoning board if
Sure.
you're not representing the zoning board?
Yeah, you can say I'm a member of the zoning board, but I'm not representing them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, they called me in on that staff, when they had the staff meeting on writing some of the zoning.
Okay.
I know some of the people that I've talked to though, so we get the, what do you call it, that voting recommendation thing. I think for zoning matters, it would make sense to have a recommendation from the zoning board on those.
I don't know why it goes through planning, but it is what the town does, and I believe it's a law.
Yeah,
That
it is.
it goes through planning board.
Is state law
Yes,
that zoning goes through planning?
yeah, planning first and zoning. Zoning is the different purview
Yeah,
of the planning. Planning comes, select planning, and then zoning.
So that, we're here.
Right, but
I mean, right, I mean, that's fine.
But,
Right.
and that's fine too.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm just thinking that if it's a zoning change,
Well, that's why we're
It
gonna
would
give
be
our,
nice to
we're
see that
gonna,
on
as
that
a
as well.
board, give our recommendations.
Because what you have now in front of you is what they collaborated and came up with.
Right.
And-
And last year, they came, I'm sorry,
No.
came to us at this point
Yeah.
and said, here are the changes. Do you have any comments?
Yeah. But if we can be proactive, as Denise has been saying, we can let them know what we've been experiencing, because they do talk about that sometimes. And, because Joanne's aware that we've had a lot of ADUs or something like that. So we can let them know our concerns and our recommendations before their meetings, before their workshops, so that they will have it to take into consideration.
And then we can attend their workshop.
Similar to our TRCs. Very similar.
Yeah.
No?
The only thing we have to do to attend their workshop is make sure that if we're a quorum, we have Patty post it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can get you on that. That was all I wanted. I'm sorry to keep everybody here, but I thought it was, I do,
Well-
I think it's important that, because we
No,
all
it is.
feel the same way. So we need to be proactive.
Well,
It's our responsibility at this point.
so why don't we, at the next meeting, I mean, it'd be nice if we could figure it out tonight, but,
What's
for
this?
the next meeting, why don't we set the date and put it in the calendar?
Well, we'll get a new calendar at the beginning of the year. So when we get the calendar of what our meetings are gonna be, we could sit down then and decide, you know, if it's gonna be September, is it gonna, you know, is it gonna be at a September meeting, or is it going to be a separate meeting of its own? Because if we have a big agenda that September by
Yeah,
chance,
We have that calendar.
Yeah, we have
We
that.
have
We have the
you.
new calendar.
no, 24th?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, we do, don't we?
yes.
Right.
Probably the
well,
day after Labor Day. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think it is.
But if we have a big agenda, it could deter, you know, our conversation, or,
Could we meet on an off,
that's what I'm saying, to have a separate
We
meeting.
could set a
I
separate
think
meeting.
so.
We could
I think
have a
so.
I
second
think that's a
meeting,
good
and
idea.
and it would just have to be posted.
Yeah.
But it's a workshop. The Conservation Commission did that this year, they had a workshop. It would have to be posted, and there would have to be minutes, but they would be very vague minutes, and we would just
Right.
have discussion, and not the public comment or anything like that.
That's better.
Sounds like a good plan.
I think it's a good plan.
Okay.
We wanna,
You want to wait till Alan's here, we pick a date, or just pick a date?
well,
It's
it's
almost,
far enough away.
it's
you know.
10 months away,
Yeah,
so
we
we
can
can
wait.
wait a little bit.
Okay. September.
Only into September. Because I know that they were meeting and talking about the proposed amendments in October anyway,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Make sure that we allow for Collins if needed for that meeting.
Oh,
That's my travel season. so
September?
September through now, so.
For the planning board? For the
For
planning board
the-
meeting, or this one? The workshop, our
The
workshop?
Our workshop, yeah.
I also wonder if we can recommend, if it's a slow summer like this past summer, where, you know, we find out the last minute, or there's no meeting, jump on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that would eliminate
cancel
a
the
double
other
meeting in September.
The way to do that would be to start right now, individually, like homework, and everybody start
Yeah.
reviewing through the ordinance,
Good job.
marking your questions, making your comments on scrap paper or whatever, so that if that happens, we're prepared.
Good idea.
And by gathering it throughout the year, we can not only look back to past years, what we've had recently, but we can make notes each month as we go along. This, you know, brought up this question or this issue, and how can we address it? So we can just keep a running tab of our notes and questions for that workshop.
Quick question, Jeff, and
Yeah.
answer honestly, please.
Okay.
So the packet we get with,
Yes.
that does not include the owner applications. What we get from the town.
I noticed that, but I give them, what I do is I give them to Patty, and
Right.
Patty puts them together.
How difficult,
The planning board gets them the whole packet.
Yeah.
They
but,
don't get just that, they get everything.
but this packet right here, okay?
Yeah.
But how difficult would it be for us to get a year's worth of these? Because then we can go, oh yeah, I remember that.
It's-
Oh yeah, I
it's-
remember
it's-
that.
That's, it won't be difficult at all, it's all right online.
That would be a great tool for us
It's
to
just-
look back.
It's what you call print.
And then from this point forward, it's up to us to say.
Yes,
That would be great.
yes. I mean,
do
I
you
see a
think?
lot coming across my desk on violations when I go out.
Give us a list of it.
And I see the constant, and I inputted some of it when they called me in.
Yes, right.
And some of it made it to Joanne, brought it up, and I sat in on the meeting when they caught you that night, Len.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they understood what I was looking for.
Good.
I says, I need more meat
Yeah.
to go after these people that are just flagrant violations.
Actually, that would be kind of an interesting thing to see is the violations too.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Because
got,
maybe it
I
could turn
have
into a
almost
recommendation.
45 violations so far this year.
How many?
45. You know, and that's just separate letters from Patty Hill across from where we approved where guys approved the farm, the lot. They have, and the one that owned the horse farm, they have a rental property, and they decided to put a roof on top of a roof on a balloon frame barn. And I said, stop work now. So this is I sent 4 letters out, and, but then again, now I have to go in front of with Derek and go in front of the select board and ask to talk to the town attorney and go to Superior Court.
Ugh.
So that's another process that I do going that way. But when I want to get to do an inspection, I have probable cause and I just bring it right directly to the court and I get it the same morning,
Oh,
you know, so.
yeah. So, okay, I see what you're saying.
So can we get these for the past year, like, soon? So that we can start looking at them, and making our notes on them. If we get them for, say, all of 2023, we'll collect them from here on out, we can keep our own, like, get the past ones for the year.
Right, exactly. I
And
agree.
just
I
start,
think that would
just
be
start making
great.
our own notes and our own package of comments and questions.
You're
So
gonna
can
be
you do that?
zoning experts.
Make sure we get
Step.
January
I thought we
through
were supposed to be.
September's
Okay.
cover sheet, or,
I don't know
you
if
know.
we're experts. But we know what.
We're just doing the cover sheets?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, we don't
just-
need all the
Yeah.
plans.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it should trigger something to us, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I
remember
wasn't
this?
complaining, I was just asking.
No. Yeah, I don't want this much paper.
Yeah,
And you know
I don't
what, I
want
don't
any
care if they're
paper.
digital. I'm very happy to get only digital.
Oh, not,
that's good. I mean,
Not me.
we can put on a PDF.
I'll print it. I
Okay.
always have to print it.
Yeah, no,
Well, and I
And
might
I write
print
on
some,
it
I
and-
might print some stuff, but I just hate the town to have to do it.
Yeah, I
I'm
can
fine
do that.
with that.
I can do that.
And you can just bring them to the next meeting, or whatever.
All right.
Instead of shipping them. I'm trying to save the town money here. I'm
Yeah.
not trying
Well,
to
that
cost
was,
the
that
town
was
money.
what my point was too. I do
Yeah.
everything on here anyway,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I will probably print them, so I don't care if the town prints them, but
Right.
it's the mailing, you know?
I know. Snail mail.
Well, this packet came so early that I was all ready last week to come in. I was all
Actually,
geared up Tuesday, and then I'm like,
You're a week
it's not even
early.
December yet.
Well, Patty said to me, she says, I'm leaving. I says, all right. I did it up that morning.
I appreciate it.
Well, actually, we can go right online and print out our own agendas.
Yeah.
Remember January and
But it's
February
it's
were
the
canceled?
notes. I like the
The notes?
the notes. Yeah. I think
Okay,
they're
so it'll
important
be a
to
little
us.
more than just the agenda then.
Okay.
You want, like, the initial staff report to
Yes,
go along
staff
with it?
report is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so
Yeah.
agenda and staff
Patty
report.
put this last staff report together.
Okay.
I gave her my copy. She says, I want to put some more in it. I says, okay. You know, so show me what you got.
Yeah. No, she did a lot.
I says, thank you.
Yeah, that is good.
You know.
Cool.
Great.
Nice work,
And it-
Denise.
Oh,
Yes, thank you, Denise,
we all want to be heard.
on behalf of all of us for doing the heavy lifting.
Motion to adjourn.
Anything further before I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you one and all.